Hey guys, welcome to a much anticipated video by me. I have no idea if anyone is looking for this kind of video out there, but in the last 6-ish months really, I have been doing all the e-reader research, trying to figure out what would work best for me, what should I do. I am a physical book girly, but there are so many benefits to ebooks and e-readers that I really wanted to force myself to become one. I have been trying to do this for years, but this year I decided we're doing it this year. So I have 4 different options that I'm going to be going over. We've got the idea of reading on your phone, reading on an Amazon Fire tablet, reading on a Kindle, or a Kobo. And I want to go over the positives and negatives of all 4 of them. So I often heard back in the day when I was doing a lot of photography, people would say what's the best camera? And the response is always, the best camera is the one that you have on you. And I feel like the same goes for e-readers. The best one is the one that you're going to have with you, which in some ways means go the phone route. But also I want to tack on also the one you're actually willing to use. So the best one is what you have with you that you're willing to actually read on. Now I am going into this biased. I don't think anyone can do pros and cons lists without being biased, but I have spent a decent amount of time with each of these. Well, actually the Kobo is my newest. I only got this 3 weeks ago or so. So this one is the most new, but I have spent a lot of time on these other ones, so I feel like while I am biased, I've had some good time to really weigh the pros and the cons, and also I'm probably going to forget some things, so feel free to leave ideas in the comments, some of the pros and cons to each of these if you have experience with them, and who knows, maybe I'll make an updated list sometime in the future. So let's start with the one that you always have with you, the phone. There are a lot of positives to the phone, but also a lot of negatives. The first thing is it's free. I mean, you had to pay for it, but it's free to read books on it. You can have all the book apps that you want on here. So for me, I like the Kindle app, I like the Kobo app, I like the Libby app. I don't like the Hoopla app. I use it, but I don't like it. You can also do Apple Books if you have, or Google Books, or what other kind of books you might have with you. If you use NetGalley, some of their books can only be read in their NetGalley app. So that is a nice thing about the phone. And generally it's always charged. I mean, depending on your personal phone usage habits, but I always charge mine overnight. And so it's fully charged for the day. Mine doesn't even get to 50% by the end of the day. So it's not like some other possible options where you don't pick it up for a few months and then when you want to go pick it up, it's dead. You've always got either charge on your phone or you need to adjust your phone charging habits a little bit. Cons though. This is where the cons really win out for me. First of all, it's not comfortable. It's too small to hold properly. I sometimes have a pop socket that helps a little bit, but it's just not a great reading experience. The other major thing for me is that it's a distraction. I go to pick up a book and then it's been 10-15 minutes and I'm on Instagram and then I remember, oh yeah, this isn't what I was supposed to be doing. If you can use your phone and not be distracted, let me know your tips. I mean, I don't even use my phone a ton, but every time I go to pick it up to read, I forget that that's what I'm picking it up for. So while it is convenient and always generally with me, I don't like to read on here because I get distracted. Also because it looks to people, mostly my family, mostly my kids, that I'm on my phone versus reading a book. To me, they're different things, right? I don't want to be wasting time on my phone. I'm okay with being oh, I'm reading a book. And also when I go out and about to appointments and stuff, I also want other people to know that I'm reading books, if I'm being honest, and not just squirreling away time on my phone. I think that covers most of the phone stuff. It has its positives, but to me personally, the negatives outweigh it. So this is not what I use to read ebooks other than if I'm caught without anything else. Okay, let's go on to the Amazon Fire tablet. We bought these for our kids years ago, so mine is quite old. I have taken it and added some stickers to it. I've got a go away, I'm reading, so that the kids know that when I'm holding this, I'm actually reading. So a pro with this is you can use a bunch of apps. So like the phone, I don't know if you can get all of those apps on here, but you can do Libby, you can do Kindle books, like there's more options for apps on here, which is nice. The Amazon Fire tablets are also quite cheap. I know they've gone up in the last few years. I mean, what hasn't? But compared to traditional e-readers, they are much cheaper than most of them. Now let's do some cons, because I tried for like 2 years to become an e-reader using this thing and it didn't work. And that is because the cons just weigh out those pros. The first one is this thing is a beast. It is so heavy. This is, like I said, an old one. I got it for my kids years ago. So maybe they're lighter now, but like when I'm reading a book holding this, my hand gets sore. So that's not fun. Also, the battery never lasts. Oh yeah, it's dead. It's every time I try to go pick it up, it's dead. It can last, if I'm reading a book, it can last through the book and more. But if I leave it for a few days because I'm not reading an ebook and then go pick it up, it's always dead. It just does not hold a charge. So I tried for years to make this my primary e-reader, try to make it work. It did not work for me. Let's move on to the Kindle. So the last 6-ish months, I stole my husband's Kindle and have been trying to love it. I used to have a Kindle Paperwhite and I sold it because I wasn't using it. I do regret that. But now I've been using his, and there's some pros and cons. Let's start with the pros though. So the pro, battery lasts a long time. Even if you're not reading it, it can go for such a long time. I've never actually paid attention, but I've never picked up the Kindle and been like, oh, it doesn't turn on, it's dead. Usually, you know, I'll notice at some point while reading a book that, oh, I should charge it. So that is huge because that means you can take it on trips. You can just pick it up and leave it for a few weeks and then pick it up again and it'll still have charge. One of the things I love about the Kindle is that there's so many free and cheap books. I think that is why a lot of people get the Kindle. A lot of ebooks go on sale for like 99 cents. There's a lot of free ones. There's definitely a lot of bookish options with this one. Also, one of the things I love about it is that there's so many indie books. It is so easy for independent authors to put their books on Amazon's, their KDP program, so they can get paid when you read the books. I love that. It's also really nice that you can set up, somebody's driving a very loud vehicle, that you can set up an email address and easily send yourself books. So if an author sends me a book or I get a book from a different site or something, I can send it to the Kindle really easily. And if you live not in Canada, but the United States, I don't know if elsewhere, you can get library books on here. Since I'm in Canada, I don't know how that works. That is just, we're gonna transition into cons, because that's a major con for me. I can't get library books on here. It wouldn't be annoying if I didn't know that other places could get library books, but because I know that the US can, I'm so angry. I have been waiting for like 5+ years for them to allow that in Canada, figure out that partnership, whatever it may be, and they haven't. So this could be a pro or con depending where you live. Also, pro or con depending where you live, I've been using Jared's Kindle, like I said, which is not as convenient as it sounds, because I think in the United States, you guys can share a Kindle library with family. We can't here. So I can only access books that I have the downloads for that I can email. I can't access any of the books that I have purchased from Kindle over all the years. So super annoyed by that. And this is a con, but I think this con will change. There's not a great color option. So Kindle just released their Color Soft in October, only in the United States once again. And I heard there was a lot of trouble with color. I'm assuming they're fixing it, or maybe they already have fixed it all, but their color options are not as diverse as some other e-readers, and color may or may not matter to you depending, as someone that has a booktube channel, I kind of want color like when I'm filming the book. I guess something I forgot for a pro, I really like that the cover is displayed of the book that you're currently reading. Love that. And then what I was saying is, as a booktuber, I like to be like, you know, filming the cover, and if it's just black and white, it doesn't look as cool. Okay, it's minor, but if you read a lot of graphic novels or stuff like that that has color, you know, you might like that. Okay, let's move on to the Kobo. So like I said, I purchased this a couple of weeks ago. I had been debating between purchasing a Kindle or a Kobo, and ultimately I do want to purchase both, but I will sum that up a little bit more at the end. So I bought a Kobo. I bought the Libra color, so it's kind of hard to tell in this book because the cover is mostly black, but you can see the color is there. It's got page turning buttons. I'm very happy with my decision, but there are some pros and some cons, so let's get into this. A pro is the battery life. I've had this for 3 weeks and I charged it when I first got it, and what are we at here? My battery is at, okay, I'm not even sure how to tell because, like I said, I'm new to this. 65%, and I've read multiple books on here in the last few weeks. So that's pretty spectacular. I don't know how it compares to the Kindle. I'm assuming they would be pretty similar. There is also a decent amount of cheap and free books for Kobo. A lot of times people, like with publishers, will put the same deal on for the Kobo books as well as the Kindle books. So I really like that. It is lightweight. Honestly, I was surprised. The Kobo is lighter than the Kindle, and the Kobo is like this particular Kobo is significantly bigger, and it weighs less. And I even asked Jared and he agreed with me, so that was interesting. This is an older paperwhite, so maybe the newer ones are lighter, but with the two that I have here, this one's definitely lighter. And it depends on which Kobo you get. They have one that looks more like the Kindle, but I'm kind of obsessed with the page turning buttons. This makes it so easy to hold. Just have your hand there and click the button, and you can set it up so that you can go either way. I didn't want mine rotating, so I turned that off for right now, but I really like that feature. Kobo is set up so that you can easily send books to yourself as well to your device. Instead of emailing it to yourself, you can just do it via Google Drive. So I have a folder that anything I drag in there will get synced with this. You can get library books on here, and I can get library books on here, which is what ultimately pushed me over the edge and made me decide to go with a Kobo. That and how nice it is to hold. The only problem I've had with that so far is I have 2 library cards right now, since I still have the one from before we moved and the new one. I have not been able to figure out how to switch between the cards yet, but I'm not sure if there is a way, or it won't really matter soon, as soon as my other library card expires. But right now that one has more books, so right now it matters just a little bit. A pro right now with the Kobo is they have that great color option that I think Kindle will have right away, and once they work out the bugs and stuff, but right now it wins out there. In the cons, in addition to like a little bit of, if you have too many or multiple library cards, that's a bit of an issue. Kobo does not have as many independent books, so it's harder to get your books on Kobo than it is on Kindle. So that does make me sad. That is like the ultimate reason that I'm going to get both of them, because I want to be supporting small publishers and indie authors, and they are not all available with Kobo. Also, because this particular one is bigger, I don't think it would fit in a small book sleeve. I think it would fit in a bigger one. I haven't taken it out and about with me so far. I've only used it at home. I will probably just get some kind of case for it at some point, but if you have like a tiny case or even a small purse, this one might not fit in there very well. But they also do have a Kobo that is color that is a similar size to like the Paperwhite. Okay, looking at my list here, seeing if I forgot anything. I'm sure I did, but did I forget anything I wrote down? Okay, I think that's like the majority. So in my opinion, me personally, the phone, it just doesn't work. Like, It's bonus if I can read a little bit on there, but I don't rely on that. The Fire tablet, like that thing just needs to go. It's useless. The Kindle has its bonuses, has its perks that other e-readers don't have. I do think I will get this at some point. Oh, a minor con, I don't like where the power button is. I don't know if they have changed this in the new ones, but it's on the bottom. And if I'm like leaning it up, sometimes it hits. Also, the USB port for this is, I don't know what it's called. It's not a very good one. Whereas this has a USB-C, which is much more handy. And the power button here is on the back, and you can't really accidentally hit it. I really like that. But I do think I will get a Kindle Color soon, well, whenever they come to Canada and the bugs are worked out, really, because I want to support those indie authors. But I am currently loving the Kobo. Highly recommend the Libra color. Love these page turning buttons. Love the color. Lots about it I love. I still personally need to get into a habit of reading ebooks. Easy enough to do when I go on a trip or something, if that's all I take, right? I love the fact that you can just take a million books with you and you don't have to, you know, carry around 10 pounds of books. But reading ebooks daily as part of my daily routine is something that I'm going to be working on in 2025, because as of right now, I don't know how to do that. Part of my problem is I'm working on cutting down my physical TBR. So once I feel a little better with the number of physical books I own, then I can start focusing on ebooks more. So if you guys have any tips, tricks, pros, cons, etc., there are some other alternative e-reader options that I did look into, and overall none of them were as good for me as the Libra color. So that's why I went this route. But I know there's definitely different e-readers out there and people have different needs, and so different ones might work for you. I do want to do a video, it will probably be in the new year, sharing some of my favorite features of this e-reader, some of the tips and tricks and different settings I've changed. So yeah, that will probably be coming sometime in the new year. If there's anything specific you would like to see, let me know. And if you guys have a favorite e-reader, I would love to hear it. Thanks for hanging out with me during Bookmas. We're slowly getting close to the end. I hope you guys aren't getting sick of me, but I'm sure getting sick of editing me. Hope you guys have a great day.